You're listening to Keeping It 100 with Mel and Bruce, sponsored by the 100 Black Men of Las Vegas. What they see is what they'll be. I'm Mel Tiller, your host. I am thrilled to be with you today because, ladies and gentlemen of Las Vegas, we are taking you to Hollywood. That's right. We're going to go to Hollywood. We are going to meet one of the up and coming stars. Let me tell you something. If you don't know her, you are going to remember today because I'm telling you right now, she is headed for the Oscars. Her name is Craijece Danielle, and she is an actress. She's making some big noise in Hollywood. Craijece, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I am thrilled to have you on board. Let's talk about your acting career. Tell us about your very first role in Hollywood.
Ooh, that's a good one. My very first role in Hollywood. Okay. That would have to be when I booked. Okay, let's start this. I wasn't really booking anything. So while I was attending school at New York Film Academy, I was
Okay.
getting my master's. So while you're in school, the rule is you could not audition. So I graduated back in February. Of course, then life happens. You need to work, you need money. So I'm just, of course, praying for literally everybody else and, all of my friends. And I feel like I was so supportive for everyone else. And I went to church, which shout out to my church, Calvary Baptist Church, my pastor, Pastor Hosea Collins. Love, love, love him, them, my whole church family. And it was a night, a revival night, and where you just like praise and worship, and you were just supposed to told to just be free.
Yes.
And literally that night, like that was like one of the first times like I actually prayed for myself over my career specifically. I left that church. That was Friday, on a Friday evening, went out for ice cream with a couple of my church friends. And then I got a call from my manager saying I had an audition that following Monday. I go to the audition. Of course, I do my prep work. I go to
Yes.
the audition. And the role that I actually auditioned for, they called me and said they wanted me to play the lead. And so while I
Oh,
was, instead of the role that I auditioned for, and that was a whole big thing. But the film is called Body of Night. It's on Amazon Prime and Tubi. That was my very first thing that I booked. And it was just like, dreams come true. I quit my job, and you couldn't tell me that I was not going to be a full-time artist. And since that day, I have not worked. Well, I have worked like 9 to 5, but it was like, after a year or so. But I quit my job and I said, I want to do this. And it
that
was
is
great.
fantastic, fantastic. I love what you said. You said I was getting my master's. So you
Yes.
are prepared. You are
Yes.
prepared for this career. So tell me this, you do a little bit more than acting. You throw some other things in there. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. I write. I've also directed. I've script supervised, which is something behind the scenes, in my opinion. If anybody has been on a professional set, that
Yes.
is probably the hardest job, because you have to pay attention to detail and continuity. And anybody who really knows that I'm a continuity queen. Like I pay attention very to details, and that's also, the Army veteran in me. Everything I had a dollar for every time I hear pay close attention to detail. Ooh, we all be rich right now,
Yes, we would. Yes.
But I do that, and I also produce as well. So I like to refer to myself as a jactress of all trades. But acting is my first passion, my main, baby. But writing, producing, directing, script supervising are also my things too.
So you are also now appearing in a series. So tell us about that.
So
Yeah,
you've heard about it. Nice.
I heard about
So
it.
I
Yes, I
booked my
did.
very first TV show, which because I've been doing a lot of films. I have over the 12 or 13. Don't quote me on the number of films out, but it was a blessing. So I had a new agent,
Yes.
which she has been phenomenal. Shout out to her. Her name is Therese, Miss Therese, I call her, Lynn. And she got me the audition, of course. I did the audition. They booked me right there on the spot for the role.
Ooh,
And I
ooh, love
said,
that.
yeah, after after the audition. And I booked one of my, like, it was always a dream of mine to play a judge. Another dream of mine is to play a lawyer. So it was like phenomenal to even be in that space and then working with, Hollywood, which we call Hollywood veterans. You guys know Kalita Smith, who she played Wanda on Bernie Mac show.
Oh, yes.
So I was working literally alongside of her, and several other, talented, amazing people who I met. But the show is called Lace, and it
Okay.
appears on the network All Black AMC, and you can also catch it on Amazon Prime on every Thursday. Season 2, Judge Floyd is my character.
Judge Floyd. Oh,
Yes.
I love that. So tell me about the role that you enjoyed most, the role that you played that you still remember, that excited you, that made you feel like, oh, this is it.
Yeah, oh, that's so hard to just choose one. But if I had to choose one, I'm going to say my personal project, which I wrote a film, directed my directorial debut, starred in it. Of course, I was the lead
Mhm.
actress in the film as well, and I also, like I said before, script supervised. So you're looking like, my manager said at that time, how in the world did you do all of that? And my response was God. But that role was near and dear to my heart because it is, a lot of it is based on true events, like my personal life. And my characters, the film is all about Araya. And of course, my character's name is Araya. And even
Spell that
though
for us. Spell that for us because I want people to go and find that film.
yes, it's all ALL, about ABOUT, Araya, Araya. And that is on Amazon Prime and Tubi as well.
Okay, it's on Tubi and it's on
Amazon
Amazon
Prime.
Prime.
Yes.
Okay, so you, where's your hometown? Tell us where your hometown is.
My hometown is Richmond, Virginia. Beautiful, it's a
Richmond.
nice city. Yes.
Shout out to Richmond, Virginia.
Hey,
Your
yes.
hometown is Richmond, Virginia, and
Yes.
you came out to Hollywood to be a major star, came out to win an Oscar. I
Yes,
love
yes,
this.
yes. That's
Listen,
the goal.
that's the goal. That's the goal.
And
That's
I've always told people, I literally, like, this is the God honest truth. My mother always called me her Job baby because I have the faith of Job. I literally booked a one-way flight to Los Angeles, not having a place to stay, not
ooh,
having a job. I knew
ooh.
I got accepted into school, and nobody could tell me that that's not where I was supposed to be. My mom and I flew her out there for 10 days. In 7 days, I was able to find 2 jobs and a place to stay. And of course, I started school that following September. But I have been out here since September of 2016.
Oh, that is
Since then,
fantastic. That is that is
yes.
that is some great information. So talk to me about success because
Yeah.
there's some young ladies out there who have this dream of
Yeah.
being a Hollywood actor. There's some young ladies out there who have a dream of being a CEO, who have dreams
Yes.
of success and doing some great things. You had a dream
Yeah.
and you prepared for the role that you now hold. So talk to us about the preparation. Talk to us about the work. Talk to us about what it takes to make a dream come true.
Yeah. Well, I would say first and foremost, your faith, my faith. God is my everything, the source. And I may get a little emotional because I'm that girl who had a dream, a little girl who lived through movies, I've always been involved in church plays, drama at school and even in high school, auditioning to, be on the TV show in my high school and things of that nature. And it's just like when I felt it in my spirit, I know this is God wants to give you what your heart desires. And my heart desire, like I said, I'm not leaving Hollywood until I get God promised me. And that's been my attitude. And
Wait a
like I
minute. Say
said, I
that one
came
more
out
time.
here.
Say, say that one more time. I'm not leaving Hollywood until.
I get what God promised me. Period, exclamation mark, end of story. And I mean that because I came out here to visit, one in 2015, and I'm like, this is it. This is the place. This is where I need to be. And of course, like I said, being from Richmond, Virginia, we don't have all of the perks, like Los Angeles does. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have theaters and stuff, plays and drama go on, but this was a place for, film. They say New York is more theater based, but growing up, I had a theater background. Like I minored in theater at my undergrad, the Ohio State University, and I wanted to get my master's in acting for film because Mama always said, get your education. Nobody can take anything from you. And I wanted to learn it, for myself and being in front of the camera and behind the camera. So
So let me say this. Let me say this. Mama is a smart woman. I know she's smart because your mama happens to be my first cousin, and all of us are smart. Okay, that's just full disclosure. This is my baby cousin, y'all. I'm so proud of her. I'm sure you all could tell, but that's all right. Full disclosure. Yeah. So you have done some exceptional things, and you have moved rather rapidly in this field.
I wanted to say that back to the success point, because yes, it seems that I have been successful, but it hasn't always been pretty. Like I said, I came out here by myself back in September, and after school it was really rough because I wasn't getting like the Grad Plus loan anymore. So I experienced homelessness. I lived in my car. I was in a homeless shelter for about 6 months until I have where we live now. I call him my husband, even though we're not legally married yet, but that's my husband.
Okay.
But so it hasn't always been, quote unquote, pretty or success, but in those moments and in those times, like when I was sleeping in my car, because I don't lie, my mom, of course, will be nervous and she would ask me, where am I sleeping? And I would tell her and assure her that, God has prepared me for this. I slept in way worse conditions, being a veteran. I'm an Army veteran. So it's better than concrete. At least I got the car, 4 doors. And it was a journey. And then even my biological father, he was out here, his name is Craig, and I went through that. We lived together for a while, and it was just a mess, to say the least, from bed bugs, like an environment that I just needed to get away from. Which, getting back to my film that I reference, that situation or what happened there, which was my own biological father, who was a drug addict and an alcoholic, and still at that time using, but I didn't know it, basically tried to make a deal with the guy in the apartment for me to do something with him. And at that point, I'm just like, I had to leave for my safety. And thank God, nothing happened to me as far as being sexually assaulted by that man. But that's when I was just on my own. And he was living in San Bernardino, and I'm just in my car, house hopping, going to couches from people who I knew. So shout out to those people, like Alicia Williams, Shaniqua Shonday, and Eric McDowell, my friends who allowed me to stay with them on their couches until I got into the homeless shelter for about 6 months. And then again, my family, of course, being so concerned about me, saying, Danny, call me Danielle, short for Danielle, come home. Homeless shelters are for places for people who have nowhere to go. But they didn't understand what God put in me. If I had went home, cause I wouldn't have booked that first movie. If I was home, I wouldn't have gotten that role. And I know it's been in my heart to be a full-time artist. So I want to encourage any girl, or anybody really with a dream. You really have to just believe it. And it may not always look pretty, because it's not, and it's hard, but you can't give up. You can't give up. And I'm still I'm not where I want to be fully, obviously, in my career, but I'm not stopping, like I said, until I get there.
That is a very, very impressive story. We have a number of people in our family who are extremely strong and went through it to get there. And so we certainly understand that, and we're all proud of you. We all brag about you, and we are going to be in the audience when you win your first Oscar.
Yes, you are.
So tell me a little bit about those individuals who have inspired you. We all have role models. We all have people who've inspired us. Who inspired you?
Well, first, I would say God, of course, because that's just, like I said, my source. My mother, obviously. I call my fairy godmothers, which when I meet them, Angela Bassett and Viola Davis, people who I look up to course, my sisters, they have been my rock, my source as well, my go-to, because both of them have had their masters. So it's like, I had to get my masters too. I want to be, and
Yes.
my father, Elmo Lewis, as well. And my husband, of course, like just my group, my support, who, they keep me going, they keep me motivated. And yeah, just like those people.
All right. Okay. I love that. So tell me about the Black actress that you admire most and why.
Oh, that's so hard to just put one because there are so many.
Yes, there are.
Give it to Viola Davis. If I just had to choose one, of course, there's no takeaway from any other, Black woman in Hollywood who I do also admire and look up to. Viola, because of her story, what she went through, and then again her tenacity as well. Like, and then the way that she presents herself in Hollywood. She's beautiful, she's married, she has a family. Like, we share some of the same, obviously, core values, and her work is just unmatched. And I believe everything every time. Like, she works, it's her work ethic. And that's, a lot of times, like, you and I have had conversations where we say it's about who you know, and you'll see people in these spaces or roles
Yes.
without a quote unquote lick of talent. And like my teacher told me in school, he said, if you were blonde with boobs out to here, you wouldn't have to have any talent, because as Black women, we already have to work twice as hard, one in life, and two, especially in this industry. But if I
Yes.
have to just one woman, it would be Viola. She's so near and dear to my heart. She's so inspirational. I just love everything about her.
She is a flat beast.
She is, and
Just
so
a, yeah,
insane.
just a flat beast.
She is.
So listen, there's some people who want to know more about you. There's some people who want to
Oh,
see more of your work. So give us some contact information. How do they see you? How do they find your films? Give us some
yeah,
information.
thank you. Okay, so I have on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Very simple, Craijece Danielle, my first and middle name, my stage name, and I'll
Spell those for us because
spell it
this is
for
radio and they can't see it. Please spell those.
yes, Craijece Danielle. Again, that's Craijece Danielle. Craijece Danielle. And that's also Facebook and Instagram. And all of my films, like if you go to Amazon Prime and Tubi and just search my name, they should come up. Sometimes it's a little weird. For some reason they don't. But like I said, I have over 12 or 13 films, like maybe at least 3 that I've been the lead in that I can think of off the top of my head. All About Araya, A Christmas Love, Wicked Game, just to name a few. But you'll see if you go on those sites, AmazonPrime.com video and Tubi, those streaming sites.
It's an amazing career thus far to have that many film credits. I mean, you've only been in Hollywood a few years, less than 10 years, and you already have that many credits. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And
Thank you.
most of all, what we are proud of is just that mentality.
Yeah.
It's been promised to me. I
Yes.
know it's
That's
mine.
right.
I'm not leaving until God gives me what I've been promised. Oh,
You better quote me. Thank you. Like I need to
oh,
I need to make that a
oh.
quote because she said, yeah, exactly.
Now,
So
see,
true.
normally when I hear something that motivating, I'll just be honest with the person. I'm going to give you credit for that today. Tomorrow, that dog is mine.
It's okay. It's okay. Look, I live by this. It was something I read. My mom used to always tell me when I used to struggle about going to school, or complain, I should say, about not wanting to go to school. She would tell me, Danielle, find something in that classroom and focus, and find something positive to focus on. And I used to dread going to drill weekend when I was, in the Army, because I was the only Black female with the all white, unit, to say the least. And
Yes.
I was dealing with the racism and all of, just all of the trash associated with that. But it was a quote that I lived by, because I remember that from when I was a kid. My mom told me that. And it says you accomplish so much when you don't care about who gets the credit. So you
Uh,
use that quote. You take it and you make it yours because you have to make it personal.
Oh,
But
I
I love
love
that.
that. Listen, you've been so wonderful and gracious with your time. I'm going to give you the last word. What would you like to leave our audience with?
Wow, I will leave the audience with again, if you have the dream in your heart, the thought, the idea, do not let anybody, I don't care if it's family, mom and dad, sister, brother, go for it. You can do it. Take my story as living witness, and you can accomplish it as long as you believe and have that faith and put the work, because as simple as it is, faith without works is dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, Craijece Daniels, you heard
Thank
it
you.
here. She is going to be winning an Oscar. We are speaking that into reality. You've been listening to Keeping It 100 with Mel and Bruce, sponsored by the 100 Black Men of Las Vegas. What they see is what they'll be. My name is Mel Tiller, and that's Keeping It 100.